Hello, anybody somewhere. Hello to that black hole that they just took a picture of. I know that you're our biggest fan. Actually, two black holes. Anyways, I don't remember either of your names. I'm sorry. This is the Crystal Tomb. I am kcStranger. I am joined by three of my. The word that came to mind is superfluous, but I don't want to call you my superfluous players. You're vital. You're important. As always, the Crystal Tomb is brought to you by XSplit Broadcaster and by Tractor Blend. Thank you, Tractor Blend, for your non-patronage. One day I'll collect. Your promised patronage. I did neglect to write out my intro the way I normally do, but what happened last time? So, as we all know, the party was greeted as the new gods of the Quotoa. To folks' surprise, someone they knew in a past life, or a past timeline, if you will, as the High Priestess of Innis, Nistia Cantaniel, is now apparently some sort of leader or civic administrator in this village of Quotoa. Quizmiligus had her show him around the city, sort of ask some questions about the relationship of the Quotoa to the Illithids, learning that they had quite some time ago been enslaved by them, now mostly just had occasional trade relations and left each other alone. Apparently insane fish people don't make great slaves. The group sort of settled in. Everyone had some different priorities. Quizmiligus, besides inquiring into the possibility of using these folks as an army, albeit indirectly, did a little bit of writing in his journal, told some impressive stories, a little bit for the future and a little bit of enjoyment now. Colleen, for her part, attempted to link herself empathically to the three creation stones. This proved to be a little bit overwhelming. Upon awakening, she decided that she wanted to create a setting that would house all three of them. Worked on that. Should be ready in the morning. Fowlin went about building an opium den. And Cain decided that he enjoyed the sacrifice of sentient, if evil, beings. So he had a tribute arranged. There was much to do about whether the tribute should in fact take place. The party argued amongst themselves. Colleen in particular didn't want to sacrifice anybody. Nistia tried to help things along, but maybe was being too intrusive. Quizmiligus attempted and failed to actually use a dominate person on her. But finally, Fowlin stepped up and just sort of made a show of it to save the day, summoning, if I remember correctly, a giant toad, and then immolating it on the scaffold using. What did I actually name that ability? I named that ability Shadow Form Strike. That's so dark and edgy. All right, and we pick up.
It's very anime.
Yeah, thank you. Anime is the main area where all the moves get named, so I think it's likely to draw inspiration from there, I'd say.
Just flavors.
Gosh. What was I? Getsuga Tensho? Anyways,
Yes.
that show was good for like 3 seasons, and then it sucked. Humble opinion. I still watched it for over 300 episodes, but it wasn't actually good. All right.
I skipped it.
All right, so we pick up as a hush falls over the gathered Quotoa, watching the burning, and then they all erupt in gibbering screams of delight. You can hear the insanity at the edges of their cheers, as they all are gazing sort of admiringly towards Fallon. If nobody, did anyone have anything in particular you were looking to use the rest of the evening for? Otherwise, I was looking to sort of wind things down. Oh, by the way, let me mention on recording, Kane.
Yes.
You notice that the magical dagger sheath that you were given is no longer warm, and you're like,
Yes.
and you're like, oh, you know, we have been. Something was going on that entire time. Got it.
I think we actually talked about it, and Max has just refused to turn it off.
Right. Well, now you know the thing actually works.
Cool.
All right. So yeah, anyone looking to use the rest of the evening for anything in particular, or are we just sort of winding down the festivities?
Gonna spend the night at the shop.
Okay. Let me think. So you actually give me perception.
Nailed it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so you, just as you think about that possibility, you notice, not just the shopkeeper, or not just like the smith, but also his assistant, who you noticed being around at one point. You notice that both of them are at this gathering.
I only need 4 hours of sleep. I'll just sit by the door or sit in a corner.
Oh, okay. You're just planning on hanging out there until they come back?
Yeah.
Okay, well, nobody's going to stop you. Did you want to get any work done, like maybe on your disintegrate spell or anything
Yes,
like that in the
that
meantime?
one.
Okay, go ahead and you can put 4 more hours towards it.
I have no idea how many hours I actually had with this, or how many it'll take me.
Well, it was at least 4, and I think it's going to take you 12. Like, you at least had 4 put towards it before.
Mhm.
I know that. I don't know beyond that. If you're really not sure, we can roll for it. Just leave it to fate.
Sure.
Okay, let me think. Make it, just roll a d3.
1d3. There we go. Why didn't you roll? There we go.
Okay.
3.
You finish it off.
Yes!
Right.
I'll never be able to use this spell.
Okay. So, yeah. So Colleen will come back to you in a moment. Kane, Fallon, either of you trying to do anything in particular, or you're just sort of heading back to sleep? Fallon, of course, you're very drugged up.
Yeah, I will try to sleep it off.
Alright, Kane?
Kane will, I guess, a few more hours during celebration.
Go find a young Krotoa maiden.
I just want to remind everybody what the canonical art for these guys is.
That is
So,
adorable.
Yeah, no, I remember what it looked like.
yeah. So just
Kane will.
so like
begin,
picture this, but like female and hot. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. I will not do this. You cannot make.
Oh gosh. All right.
What, you don't have that fetish that's like being
Nope.
swallowed whole?
Not even a little bit.
All right. So yeah. So over the next hours.
Wait, no, I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
still talking. Interrupted me with
My bad.
Tower maidens. No, what Kane's gonna do is for a few hours create like a Kuatoa fight club to fight for his amusement, not to the death, because people are whiny about this. But just
Okay.
to prove to their god their faith,
Give
their
me,
devotion.
depending on how you want to go about this, give me persuasion or intimidation.
Persuasion or intimidation.
Yeah.
But I'm their god.
Yeah, I know, but you're gonna
Do
get
I get,
something in all likelihood. But I'm gonna see
do I
how
get
effective you are.
advantage?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you
Not proficient in either of those things.
yeah, you sort of spin around and head back, and the Kotoa are pretty riled up. And as you start talking to them, you realize that it's hard to just convey to them what you want them to do. They're sort of riled up into this insane sort of celebratory pitch. Finally, though, you get through to one of them and you explain what you're after, and you put together, sort of a group of about, maybe about 20 of them. You go a short distance from the temple. They sort of form a loose ring, and you watch them sort of spar with each other. They seem a little punch drunk, if you will. Right now, it is not, for the most part, anything particularly high level that you see going on here. Sort of stumble away from the ring, but it's rather amusing.
We've pushed our luck enough today. I guess I'll just go find wherever our rooms are.
Okay, yeah, you head
And
back to the temple.
that saltwater slush was their best form of drink, right?
I mean, that was what. I mean, presumably they would give you, um, you know, the the best they had. So yeah.
Oh, I know. I'll say to her, bring me. I will go find Nistia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm remembering these things on my own. Uh, and be like, I require your finest weapons and light armors.
She sort of thinks for a moment, and then says, right. We have some things in the temple. Most of it is for the Quotoa," and her eyes sort of glimpse up and down you. Although actually,
I look like I'm in my party clothes.
right. She says, well, I'll show you what we have.
You have no powerful artifacts?
Um, she thinks for a moment and says, we have some objects of value. Um, would you like to come with me to the storage room?
Yes.
Okay, right this way then. She stays, or actually, let me think. So this would actually be, trying to remember where you came in for. Right. So she guides you up the stairs, but then she goes down a different hallway than the one you guys' rooms are in. And you remember it actually from the previous time when you were down here, when you snooped
Right.
around this temple. You actually found a room that had some valuables in it, and you sort of purloined one of them.
Yeah.
So
Good.
she takes you inside, and she says, there isn't much. And you look around, and indeed, there is not that much here. And she says, and frankly, I don't know how useful most of it will be. Probably the most useful thing are these. And she opens up a cabinet and brings down sort of what? It's like a wooden rack like you would use for a flight or something like that. But what it actually has is 5 bottles with some kind of viscous, dull green liquid in it. It actually looks kind of disturbingly like snot, actually.
Like what?
Like snot.
Ooh,
Um,
yummy.
and she puts it down on the table and she says, these function like what I believe you would call greater healing potions.
Insight check.
Sure. Go ahead and roll
Will
insight.
those function as greater healing potions? Oh wow, really? Okay, cool.
She's been very helpful. She looks. You don't catch any signs of deception when she says that.
This will do, and I take them.
All right. Mark 5 Quotoa healing potions.
How much are they?
0.2 each.
All right.
And then she says, and I don't
Who
know.
has the bag of holding?
That's a good question. Colleen does.
Dang it! I should have done
Colleen
it.
has it.
I'm encumbered, like a lot.
Brilliant. Well, you can go like 3x your natural carrying capacity before you like literally can't carry it. So, you're just normally covered.
I mean, I just can't be 40 feet fast now. Now I'm only 30 feet fast, like
Correct.
some kind of speed.
That's correct.
Who has a fucking 30-foot movement speed, huh?
I can dash as a bonus action. So
I can fly if I wanted to.
I can also dimensional door wherever I want.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Hey man, I can hold my breath for a long time
And then
and run 40
Oh,
feet.
sorry.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm just gonna go to bed now. I'll find Clean later to put this in the bag.
And then Nistia shrugs and says, and well, I suppose you are a new god. So she opens up another cabinet and says, these aren't of particular magical use, so far as I know, but if you just were looking for valuables, she takes out some objects. There is a silver chalice that has white gemstones, so moonstones around the outside of it. She takes out what appears to be some kind of war mask. It's painted gold and has sort of red detail around it. It's sort of both opulent and, I mean, not really to you, but like slightly intimidating at the same time. Looks very nice. She takes out a gold ring that has some deep red bloodstones set into it. She takes out a brass mug that has a jade inlay on it. And then finally, a box of small animal figurines. They're turquoise. She opens it up. There's a bat, a snake, a cavefish, a toad, and an octopus.
What?
An octopus.
Ooh. No, thank you. Those are
And-
tentacles. Tentacles are
And
evil.
she says, this is what? Aside from the actual coin used by the villagers, this is a good portion of the valuables we have stored back.
I will take these for now and see if what the other gods wish to do with them.
Very well.
Is that your god voice?
Yes,
Your commanding god voice?
very commanding. I'm definitely keeping that ring though. That ring sounds dope. But yeah, taking all that. Show it to the guys later.
Incidentally, I just realized this actually comes into play. I didn't consider this when I set this up, but as you take those objects, the the dagger sheath at your hip warms up.
Okay, so I put them all down on the table
Hmm.
and pick up one at a time.
Okay, and actually,
Which one triggers the sheath?
so actually, as you set them all down,
The smartest Kane's ever
it
been.
remains warm.
I had a good idea too.
Thwarted.
Nistia sort of furrows her brow and looks at you. Is something wrong?
One of these objects is
Say cursed.
I must consult the others and take all the items.
Okay. So,
It's already on me now, so whatever. What's the worst that can happen, right?
yeah. What's the worst that can
Any
happen?
rubies in there, by the way?
So,
Any rubies in the
here
mix?
are the things, and I mean, you might abbreviate this on your character sheet. Let me see. That's gonna be 0.5. Let's call this also 0.5. This. And that. I tried to make that happen once. Karnas has a lot going on in his life right now. Those are the things.
I feel like last time Kane swore death upon his character. I don't remember though. He may have grown up since then.
The sultry barkeep was actually well, she wasn't really a barkeep, but it was Satao's character.
Oh. What am I getting? Oh, that's right. Sorry, I got them confused.
Her name was like Catriel.
And then
oh yeah, we found her sister, and y'all wouldn't let me sneak away with her body.
And then so as you start gathering those things up, Nistia shrugs and says, "And then besides that, I mean the smiths can make basic weapons and things like that, but I imagine you already have better yourself."
Of course, we are gods.
She
I just want to
just
see what
nods.
artifact you had to offer to us.
Well, I am glad we had. And she still sort of frowns, but you know, because of your reaction. And she said something of use to you.
So was the box 250 for the whole thing, or for each figurine?
For the whole thing.
Okay. All right. I am super encumbered. Encumbered. I'm like 4 pounds encumbered.
Such encumbered. Very well.
I can only carry 45 pounds of stuff, guys.
All right.
I will take these to my room.
Okay.
I will put the doll up against the door frame. And if anyone comes near it, it will scream, "Wake up! Someone's trying to take your shit!"
Wake up, someone's trying to take your shit. Sorry, I have to record the new voice line.
I can have multiple voice lines. Right?
Yeah, you can do that. So later, a little bit later that night, when Fallon gets up to go to the bathroom, you actually, you know what?
Are we sharing a room?
Let's do this. Fallon, give me a Constitution saving throw.
I'm working on it. I have
And that was
my
the
character
last
sheet.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, Fallon, later that night, you
Is this going to have any lasting effects? Because if this is all just because Kane set an alarm. I can't save. I mean.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So,
He might be dead now.
You all do your thing. Colleen, you realize that the shopkeep isn't around, and you just sort of find a corner to curl up in and go into your meditation. Fallon, Kane, you both wind up going back and sleeping. Fallon, you're very used to consuming this drug, but you consumed way more of it than you normally do. So you do, at one point, it's middle of the night sometime, wake up, kind of sick feeling, kind of like, you know what, I might have to hurl. So you step out into the hallway and walk past Kane's room, and as you do, you hear, "Wake up! Someone's trying to take your shit! Wake up! Someone's trying to take your shit!" Kane, you hear this.
I wake up and scan the room. Blades drawn.
You don't see anyone. You do hear footsteps outside the closed door.
Can I hear a steady stream hitting the door?
Is that what you're doing?
Does
Yes.
the door open inward or
Okay.
outwards?
Inward.
I'm rolling for it. The door opens in.
Dang it.
Kane. This second, though. And if we need to roll to see whether Kane puts this together in his sleep-addled state, we can. But Kane, you hear the doll going off, and you hear something sort of lightly, what's the right
Kind
word
of
for
heavily,
this?
yeah. Okay.
Like pattering against the door.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. How far into the rest am I?
How what?
How far into the rest am I, by the way?
About 3.5 hours.
If I were to do something now, would I get a long? Would it count as a long rest?
No.
Dang it! Oh well, I just thought of something. Okay, well first off, I will use second sight to detect magic.
Okay.
I see nothing. They must be invisible.
So yeah. So you do that. Let me. Just a second. Okay. Oh, actually. So yeah. You look around. You see the doll. You see the enchantment on the doll.
I also glance at the objects now, since I have that opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Should
Interesting.
have done it in front of Nistia to be like, I am all seeing, but whatever.
Okay. So you look at the stuff, and actually you do not. So you see that the potions, do indeed have the type of magic would be necromancy on them. And actually, let me check.
Necromancy.
Yeah, lots of healing magic is necromancy. And actually, let me see here. They also, I have to double check. Yeah, they also have some other enchantment on them, you notice.
What's the nature of this enchantment?
You can't tell. You can just tell that they're enchanted.
No, detect magic. You can see the school of magic.
Yeah, right. The School of Magic is enchantment.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was using the literal D&D sense of enchantment.
Okay, I misunderstood you.
So you see that. You also notice that most of the other items that were given to you appear to be non-magical, except you see a glow of divination magic around the box, or maybe coming from within the box.
Wait, you said from the box?
Yeah, or maybe from within the box.
I'll open the box.
Okay, you notice that specifically the figurine of the toad is the one that has the glow about it.
Okay, I'll take note of this.
Okay.
But there's no invisible people.
Let me check one more thing. Fallon. What is the proper? You know, I'm just gonna do it this way. Fallon, roll a d100.
On it. Is it? What did I roll?
Okay. Yeah. So in the time it takes you to do this, Kane, you still hear the pattering against the door. But nothing else seems to be happening.
Okay. I open the door.
All right. And
But like slowly. Like I'm still battle ready.
okay.
Or like here, like so I go to like I
Yep.
would try to peek through the door crack to see like
No, you said you opened it. You go into a crouch.
no. Shush.
You roll
I'm
forward.
thinking tactically here.
Okay. All right. So
I'd be like it's either I would peek through or I'd go like see like if there's anyone there. No. I have X-ray ring. I use my X-ray ring.
You know what? Because you're sleep addled, I'm gonna go with the first thing that you said.
Dang it. But I was gonna use the ring first. I forgot with the detect magic stuff. That was my original plan.
All right.
Was to use the ring. I just thought it was part of my second sight. Then I saw second sight to detect magic, and I was like, let me do that instead. And then
all
forgot about the
right.
ring.
Sure, I'll allow it. So you activate your X-ray ring, and you're immediately overwhelmed with a powerful aura of enchantment and conjuration magic coming from Fallon's dong. No.
Wait.
No. I'm sorry. That was a joke. That was a joke.
I was like, how do I talk about this to Fallon later? So I noticed your penis, and it.
You do see.
Second sighted it. You made a double take. I understand.
You do see Fallon peeing against the door. Looks like he's finally starting to wind down.
Stop it.
Fallon, you hear a banging from within.
Oh, that's.
Can it be like Austin Powers being unfrozen? Sorry, I saw that recently.
Yeah, no worries.
Just say, hold on, I'm almost done.
And yeah, I imagine that's probably about how it goes. So Fallon, you finish your business. It's a load off of you. You feel a little bit better. You head back to sleep. Kane, you probably decide not to open the door, I imagine.
Yeah.
And you head back to sleep as well. Yeah, so we're gonna cut over to Colleen at this point. Colleen, you wake up. You spend several hours finishing off Yield Disintegrate, and just about as you're finishing it up, just a few minutes later, actually, the shopkeep sort of comes stumbling around the corner. You can tell he's still a little bit bleary-eyed from the previous day. But, and actually, let me see here. Does he actually notice you? Yeah. As his eyes fall on you, you watch his face sort of flicker through recognition into a slight panic, and then he calms himself down a little bit, and then he says, "Oh, Goddess Colleen, most excellent to see you here. I do hope you haven't been waiting on me long, have you? I would have worked through the night if I'd known."
Oh no, it's fine. I was just reading a book.
Oh, okay. Well, are you here to check on the item?
Yes, and I actually have one last thing I'd like to do to it as well.
Oh. Well, come in, come in. And as he opens the door, says, "I do hope. Would you mind terribly if I got myself something to drink, just to wash the morning bleariness away?"
Not at all. Help yourself.
Excellent, excellent. And he bustles over to the corner, and you see him heat some water over. It's basically it's a small furnace that he has a grate over. You watch him sort of measure out something dark and earthy into another little pot, and then he looks back at you and says, "Would you like some stone's blood as well?"
Some what?
Stone's blood. It's most refreshing, I think, anyway. I don't know if it would be for you.
Sure, I'll try.
Excellent, excellent. He measures out 2 cups, and you can actually see his arm trembling slightly as he brings it over to you. I mean, he's practiced. He's practiced with his hands. He manages not to slosh it, but he sets it down on the table in front of you and says, "Well, hope you like it." And he sort of sips at his as he starts taking various implements out.
What's it taste like?
Um, it tastes kind of like, so you take a sip of it, vaguely, very vaguely, it could taste like really dark coffee. Um, there's a sort of, mm, what's the right way to describe this? Sort of this dank, vaguely like briny undertone to it. Overall, definitely an acquired taste, but do you keep sipping at it?
I shudder a little bit, but I try to be polite.
Okay. You actually, you know what? Give me a con save.
Gonna be like that. Nailed it.
Okay. You think to yourself, all right, let me try and be polite. You take sort of a larger sip of it, and mistake, you sort of gag on it just a little bit, and it spurts out of your nose, actually, onto the ground. Does he notice? Oh, you see as he's bustling around, he has his back to you. When he hears you sort of spitting it out through your nose, he tenses up just a little bit. Doesn't turn around just yet, but you see him moving very slowly and carefully. And he says, "Oh, actually, no. He turns around and sort of looks sheepish, and he says, 'Is everything okay?'"
Well, yeah, fine. That just surprised me a little bit.
"Very well, very well." He turns around and finishes pulling out the rest of his stuff. So finally, he takes what he's worked on. You see the setting. He's got sort of a silvery looking chain, sort of a medium fine chain. Definitely, it's sort of a compromise between utility and aesthetics. Um, and and oh, and actually, you would still have the 3 stones, um, I presume.
Yeah.
So he turns around and says, "I believe everything is ready."
My last modification, I'd like to see if we could etch a symbol into either the back or maybe make a small metal ring to go over top of it.
He thinks for a moment and he says, he turns the pendant to its backside, and there's sort of a broad, flat area where the 3 settings are sort of arrayed around that. And he says, the easiest thing would be the etching. We could put it right here.
That'll work.
Okay,
Um,
excellent.
I'd
He takes out a few other tools. He's got sort of a small torch and then a few small chisels.
like to etch my blood seal into the back of the pendant.
Blood seal?
The spell, just like the actual visual symbol of the seal.
Oh. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm trying to think. So you would have like your spell book entry for it. That's not what you mean? You mean like actually the visible appearance? Like when you use it of what it looks like? Or like what do you have in mind?
Just it's mostly just for flavor. I just want that blood seal, like my protective seal on the thing,
Okay.
to be like, this is very close to me.
Okay. So are you going to actually carve it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think
Mm,
what this would be. So he'll sort of guide you through it and hold the torch and stuff. Let me see here. All right.
press digitate a nice little tracing.
Oh, actually, that's not. All right. You know what? I'll give you advantage for that. That's a good idea. Um, but let me see what kind of check this should be. I guess probably some kind of dexterity check.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, I guess go ahead and roll sleight of hand for it with advantage.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Well, see, advantage comes in handy sometimes.
Yeah.
You do a remarkably nice job, actually. Sort of when you first press to digitate the pattern onto it, it doesn't look right. It sort of takes you a couple tries to get the tracing to look right. But once you do, you follow it no problem, and you achieve pretty much exactly what you're looking for.
Yes. Be
All right.
beautiful.
And then you work for a few minutes more to remove the stones from their current settings. Incidentally, you will have, go ahead and maybe mark on your inventory just like 0.1 creation stone settings, just because the magic is all in the stone, but you've got some, I don't know, pieces of metal that are worth something. Um, And yeah, so basically all that you do is you put the stone in the setting. It's like a tight fit, but you can squeeze it in at first. And then he just heats up a few little pieces that are meant to sort of clamp down around the stone and just does a light hammering to get everything set. All right. Cool. Okay, so you finish that up, and he sort of looks up, sort of steps back, um, sort of nods slightly, and says, "So, do you like it?"
Oh, it's beautiful. Is there anything I can do to repay you for this?
Oh, I nothing from the honor of serving you is far more than I could ask for.
Hmm. There has to be something I could do.
He
I'll give him my lucky rabbit's foot. Because I
Okay.
have a rabbit's foot.
All right. You take it out. You say, "Oh, actually, I'll give you this," and you hand it to him. And he looks at it for a moment and says, "If I may, what is this?"
It's a rabbit's foot. It's a creature from the surface, and it's considered lucky.
His eyes like widen as he looks up at you. You even see like tears shimmering around the edges. And he says, I will treasure this forever. Thank you."
Consider it a blessing.
Yes, yes, yes. Please, please do return anytime.
I will. I hope we'll stop by on the way back when we're done.
The way back. Are you not meaning to stay?
Well, we do have some business to take care of down here. I really appreciate your help with this. It'll help stay close to me.
Of course, of course. Best of luck. Although I'm sure you hardly need it.
Well, I think we're going to need it.
He just nods and sort of remains in a semi bow. Of course, of course.
Well, then I best go see what my compatriots are up to. We have a lot to do.
Very well. And yeah, you leave. You head back towards the temple.
Kind of fidget with the new pendant the whole way.
Finally, you make your way back to the temple. Head in the front, I imagine. Head back upstairs. Fallon, Kane, I imagine the two of you are just waking up around this time. You exit into the hallway, and there's no sign that anything amiss happened last night, other than that the floors appear to have been recently cleaned. You step out, and actually, as all of you arrive in sort of the common room, you realize that breakfast has already been laid out. There's some hearty slabs of the same sort of fungus that you had along with the beer last night. It appears to have some sort of pink paste set next to it. In addition, there are what appear to be sausages, and what more of the same sort of some water, along with more of the same dark liquid that Colleen just became acquainted with.
Fallon, I think you should try that.
I try it.
Yeah, con save.
May like it. Who knows?
We'll see. I always do bad on the con save. Did you see it?
Not yet. It hasn't popped
It's a
up.
14.
Okay. Yeah, you drink it, and it's sort of like it sort of has like the uncanny valley aspect with respect to coffee. Like, it's close enough to be a little bit weird that it's very much not that. At the same time, you keep drinking at it, and it's actually rather quickly you start to feel more alert.
Awesome. I drink it and I enjoy a hearty breakfast.
So you do. Colleen Fallon seems to stomach it better than you.
I take a mug of it, and I attempt it, but I'm going to use prestidigitate to make it taste better.
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, it says you can flavor a material.
Oh, interesting.
I know,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Got my own creamer and everything.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you reflavor it. Maybe you um add a little bit of that dairy creaminess to it. Give it a little bit more of an herbal character. You start drinking at it, and actually, with your magical amendments, it's pretty reasonable, and it
Ah,
is indeed
delicious.
sweet. Uh, yeah. So, Kane, you stumble out as well.
Uh, okay. Say, hey, clean. You can figure out magic things, right? I
Yeah.
figured this out. And I just kind of toss the I take out the magic. Like, what was it? The frog,
Toad. Yeah.
the toad, and what was the other one?
There was an octopus. I want that one.
I
No,
mean,
sure.
there were five figurines in there. It was only
No,
the
no,
toad
the
that
ones
seemed to
that
be
were
enchanted.
magic.
Yeah, only the
Oh,
toad.
Nothing else is magic among those items.
Correct.
Oh wait, no, I was thinking about the. Never mind. I was thinking about the joke you made. All right. Wait, no, yeah, there was something that gave. Oh wait, no, that was a potions. That was a potion.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Well, I'll still get the potions too. I'll say here, these things. Where are they?
I guess I will identify them.
All right. So, this is gonna take about 20 minutes.
Well, I'll
Clean.
make an Arcana check first, but
Yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, at a glance, um, the uh, the potion bears the signs of, I mean, it's clearly some sort of magical potion. Hard to say until you actually run an identify spell on it. It's not. It doesn't look like anything that gets commonly made on the surface, so you can't identify it just from like its color and viscosity and all that. Similarly, the toad doesn't like neatly match onto any magical artifact that you're aware of, but um, it does have a little tingle to it. Kane clearly seems to think it's enchanted, so something must be going on. You imagine that it's more to do with there's an enchantment on the toad rather than the fact that it's a toad is particularly important.
okay, let's figure it out.
All right, which one are you going to start with?
The toad.
Okay. So you learn that this toad is a beacon for scrying magic. Essentially, it functions as an amplifier that grants whoever's watching on the other end both vision and hearing of anything within 15 feet.
Huh.
Are you?
Well,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. Kane, this little doll here. It's if someone's trying to see you, they can see you and hear you, and they can focus on that object.
Are there any Kuatori here?
Not at this time.
Hmm. Also, I bring out the valuable shit. It's like, hey, y'all want any of this stuff? Well, everything but the ring. I'm wearing the ring.
I want the octopus.
I show I'd like the figurines, the brass mug with the jade, the
Turquoise octopus.
gold, the silver chalice. Well, no, actually, I'm keeping the mask too. Mask is open, awesome. I might wear that shit. Cool. Like, how far around does the mask go?
I mean, it like covers most of the front of your face.
Is there any kind of like cowl thing built into it?
It's mostly just sort of a strap around the back, so it's mostly like, I mean,
Alright.
think
I'll
like
have to get
theater
that
mask depth, but it's got some.
I'll have to get that modified to have the cowl part. So because I'm blue, man, and like that sticks out when it comes to if I've ever seen assassinating, you know. I need something to cover up the blue.
All right.
So
I mean, you have
take out
hair, I think, right?
Yeah, but I just want to be safe, you know.
All right. All
Better
right.
safe than sorry. I'm playing ahead. So I take out the silver chalice and the brass mug and the box of figurines and say, "Hey guys, you want any of this shit?" Actually, what were the other figurines again? Let me scroll up.
Bat, snake, cavefish, octopus.
I'll use your any of that. And you guys want any of this stuff?
I'll take the snake.
All right.
Individual figurines weigh 0.1. The box itself is 0.5.
Okay.
The
And you take
individual
the octopus.
figurines are worth what I guess. Let's just call it 50 each for the figurines. I'll say the value is mostly in the figurines. Oh wait, no, they're a set though. So if you separate them, they might be worth less. The whole set is worth 250. We'll figure out what the value of the individual pieces is if that becomes relevant.
I'm not worried about that. I don't think I will need to know.
Yep.
I won't be selling my octopus special.
All right. Well.
All right. Hang on to the. I'll leave the toad on the table. It's like, all right. And then the moment anything enters the room, like a Koto or someone, would be like, "Bring Misty in here."
Well, actually, at this point, you hear footsteps coming up the stairs. They sound like. Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, everybody, give me a perception. And that includes.
That's a
Gamora.
15.
I'm working on it.
All right.
I gotta open
14.
up the sheet separately.
Reliable talent.
Okay. Two of you don't hear this because she has some of the light-footedness of the true elves.
I'm
But,
about to kill a bit.
but Fallon and Gmork. So Gmork sort of he perks up. You hear the light footfalls begin to come up the stairs at this point
Towards us or away from us?
towards you.
Okay.
Do you say anything about this, Fallon?
Yeah, I guess do I know it's her, I guess?
You can infer that. The Quoto are clumsier.
Okay. I'll say, well, sounds like the elf's coming.
And so the only reason I bothered with that is just because, you're having a conversation about stuff you may or may not actually want her to hear. So shortly after that, the door slowly opens and Nistia smiles as she looks at you and says, "I see you found breakfast. I do hope everything is to your liking."
Hey, Mistia.
Yes.
Who would scry this object here?
Scry. She looks down at the.
Where did you get this object?
She thinks for a
Think
moment.
very hard.
And she says, "Well, you can imagine that many of those objects weren't created by the Quotoa. We get them in trade with neighboring people. To be honest, I can't remember where that in particular came from. I could perhaps ask the priests."
Go ask the priest. Be quick.
Of course. She sort of slowly turns around and closes the door behind her and walks away.
Well, I thought if maybe the Kotoa were drawing it, it might be useful to keep it with us so they could know what we're doing should we need anything. But if it's someone else, it's a little bit more of a risk.
All right, I need to check something. While I'm doing that, Clean, did you also want to check on the potions?
Yes.
All right. So you identify the potions, and you learn that they do indeed function as potions of greater healing. However, anyone who drinks them has vulnerability to psychic damage for the next hour.
See what you did there.
Does she tell? Does Clean say this?
Yeah. I
I'm
don't.
gonna go find
Well,
Nistia.
Okay, you just immediately leave as soon as Queen tells you that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I need to check something real quick, and then. Okay. You see Queen or Nistia actually, like, as you get to the door of the temple and look out, you see her actually heading back towards the temple with one of the Quotoa priests in tow. It's not the one that you talked with before. He's older, appears to be male, although, they're Quotoa, you can't quite be sure. And she sees you at the door, and sort of you see her sort of quicken her step a little bit to approach the temple. And she says, "Oh, hello, Kane. I was just coming back with Ilderop here. Can I help you with something?"
Those potions.
Yes.
Those potions both heal but weaken.
She stops and thinks for a moment and says, "I believe those also came in trade. What are you referring to?"
That is now 2 tainted objects you have given that came in by trade.
technically, you took. They weren't.
Hey, you're not here.
I know.
Her eyes widen slightly. She looks visibly a little bit nervous. Not really trying to hide it.
I require a very compelling explanation for this.
She says, "Perhaps Ildrop might be able to shed some light on the subject. Would you like
I
to
hope you can.
come inside, or would you like to go inside?"
Yes, let's. And I kind of motion for her to lead the way.
She walks in, heads right back up to the same room with the others.
I follow, but like get my hand on my blade.
Okay.
Not drawing them. Just
Yeah.
ready.
They don't make any weird moves. They head up. Both Nistia and the Quotoa sit down on.
And there's just the one door, right?
There's the one door that goes from the stairs, and then there are 2 hallways that branch out from the room.
Alright, well, I'm going to stand by that door.
Okay.
Like, so they can't go out the big door.
All right, sure.
In case they try and flee from us.
Yep. The 2 of them sit down on sort of a medium-sized couch next to each other. And then Nistia turns to Ilderop and says, "So, last night, the god Cain asked me if we had any items of value. I gave him a number of things, some of which you see here. It turns out that something might be off with both the that figurine and with the potions. And we were wondering if you could remember where they came from." The priest nods, and he says, "We do trade with a number of the societies around us. I believe," he looks at the potions, "are you able to confirm what you find amiss about the potions? Or
Do you
are
question us?
looking for an answer free of information, I see. I believe those came from the Illithids,
From who?
otherwise known as the Mind Flayers.
You literally cut out. Unless you.
Oh, he
Yeah.
said that
Yeah.
the Illithids.
Okay, I just heard "s" at the end. So I was like,
Got
I hope he didn't name someone "s."
it. They came
All right.
from.
That'd be. It would. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the name they gave something.
Yeah.
It's the fucking sound,
The
but
big bad of the campaign is actually just a balloon that's slowly letting out air.
Kane trying to think really hard. Just hear "s."
Yeah. Okay, so believe they came from the Illithids.
Could you tell me if I give you a map where exactly this Illithid town is?
Absolutely.
believe
Or
we
I
already
can
know where
go
it is.
fetch one.
I think we have one.
Well, you have a map of. I believe you have a map. Of
We have a
the
map. Plus, we know where it is. don't
Illithid
we?
city itself, and you also went there previously.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to verify the
Right.
correct space.
So, I mean, I'll just shortcut over it and just show you the map. So,
Ooh, look at that clock.
yeah, what is that? Anyways, you are currently here in Indplur, and Undrosk is down here. You would also see, by the way, on this map, some other features marked out, namely, sort of going this route. So confirming what you knew before, which is that the Drow city, which incidentally is named in Karen, is over this way. If you head up this direction, that is the Durgar city of Ignos. And you also see that there are paths that lead to the deeper Underdark that head off in other directions.
Where was it in Karen? I didn't see the. Okay. So let's avoid those places.
I give the toad to one of my zombies and tell it to bury it on the outskirts of town.
Okay.
I was gonna say destroy it, but that works too.
Incidentally, as the zombie goes to do that, as soon as the zombie gets very far from you all, Kane, the sheath returns to normal.
It seems that the range of that magic is limited. It is already faded. I can sense it. It's my great power.
And the priest says, as for that object, I believe that was actually in trade with the Drow.
You should be more careful with your trading.
Apparently.
Remember, you must strike down your enemies before they strike you down. Always search for signs of weakness, and when you find it, that is your time to strike.
Foolishly, our former companion, and actually, what is his name? Our former companion, Drimple, thought that he sensed more weakness from you than he did. Unfortunately for him,
wait.
of course.
Can I put? Oh, this guy, and I pulled the head up.
He gives a weak smile. That would be the one.
Ah, yes. It's a cautionary tale. You must tell all of our followers that you must not confuse mercy and weakness.
His eyes just blink.
Yes. Is he like... He seems less fanatical than the others. I don't like this. I want to insight check him.
You want to, like, check him for insanity?
I want to check to see if he's just like going along, but like doesn't actually buying it like everyone else is. So I guess
Okay.
yes, I'm insight checking for insanity.
All right, sure. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
See, this bitch is lying. Yes. If he knows the truth, he must die. It's 15.
Okay. He's definitely has a little bit more going on in his skull than a lot of the other Quotoa. I mean, just like, even just given the sort of insight that registered in his previous comments, you can't help feeling that he's got a glint of something about him, be it just sort of madness pure and simple, be it scheming, be it just fanaticism. There's he's a loose cannon to some extent, and is obviously a bit guarded about it. Now, whether he's a loose cannon in your favor or against you, a little bit harder to say.
Tell me about yourself, old one.
He says, "Well," and he thinks for a moment. "For many years, I served the great god Pinploop, and tried to make this city somewhat more prosperous. Like to think we've achieved some small success." He looks around. "And at the very least, carving out a meager existence in this harsh Underdark is no small feat, so I am perhaps somewhat proud, especially considering my rather humble origins. Now, of course, there has been a change of power, and I exist to serve the four of you and the city." Quizmiligus is also there. Whatever, he's not saying very much.
You have done well. I agree. Though these items here show the lack of how the poor influence your previous god was. We have shown you these weaknesses. Perhaps you will shore them up.
He says,
Be more wary trading with those who may want to bring harm to you.
he says, "Unfortunately, I lack the magical talent to know these enchantments in detail, but I can at least recognize them in general outline, and be assured that I intend to take a sweep of the temple once we're done, sparing, of course, your quarters."
Yes. I look at Nistia,
Mm-hmm.
kind of deep sigh. Well, the explanation was satisfactory.
She nods and smiles very slightly.
Alright then, guys, what do you want to do? Look at everyone else.
Well, might as well be on our way, I think.
On your way,
Are we just going on our way?
both Nistia's head sort of pops up when you talk about being on your way. The priest sort of raises his head more slowly and sort of tips it to the side to look at you. Nistia says, "Where do you wish to go?"
Well, personally, I want to go everywhere.
She smiles.
But for now, we must retrieve something from the illithid.
"You wish to go that way?" She blanches just a little bit. "That is perilous." She says, "Unless you wish simply to parley with them, perhaps."
How exactly do you
Parlay.
go about that?
Yes, how would that work?
Well, we have certain arrangements between our village and theirs. There are certain designated individuals who the mind flayers do not attack, and we simply relay our wishes to them.
Arrange it. We wish to speak with them.
I don't know about that, Kane.
You don't want to talk to them first?
Do you know what a mind flayer is? Do you know why they're called mind flayers?
But they just said they can parlay. I understand what parlay means. You can parlay with the dragon. And,
So
it means that we'll parlay.
if we go with the Krotoa, we risk all the Krotoa in this village if something were to happen.
Huh?
I don't want that to happen.
I don't see what you mean.
We can. I guess I'm just gonna say it in front of the other guys.
Well, no,
I
hold
know.
on. Wait, Nistia. When you say arrange a parlay, you mean they'd be coming like here? We'd be meeting like somewhere like neutral, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, they'd be coming here. Yes.
There's a small cave in between this village and their city. It sometimes takes a day or so. They only check it every so often, but if one of our representatives, and she actually nods, excuse me, down to Ilderop. She says, Ilderop is actually one himself. But if one of our representatives goes to that cave, then she says, at least to my knowledge, the mind flayers will arrive to talk and not to sup.
Kane's kind of at that. He's just kind of he's gonna walk up to Clean and just kind of whispers so the others can't hear. He's like, "What is what's wrong with the parlay idea? I figured you wanted to avoid fighting them, but if you want to fight them, don't fight them too." Like,
I mean, I'm all for befriending tentacle monsters, I promise, but I mean, if something were to happen and we end up in a fight, we risk all the Krotoa in this village.
how do we risk them?
So hold on.
Because we have a relationship with them.
Oh, you think they would exact vengeance upon the village?
Yes,
Oh, I don't care though.
I do. I know you don't care.
What do you think, Val? I mean, if you would rather just go and fight and kill them, I'm totally down to do that too. But I figure I can behave during a parlay, and if they don't agree, we can just be like, all right, that's fine, and then we go and kill them later.
I say we do what we usually do.
Well,
Go
I'm
in
just thinking
blind.
back-
You know, try to sneak in, and when that fails, just
I'm just thinking back to last time we were down here and tried to like save her, and we didn't because we were so severely outnumbered.
how apt. How great is it that Stalker was here in the beginning?
I know, right? I thought he was actually legit going to be here just because this is where we were. He teased me.
Nistia speaks up and she says, I should perhaps mention one other possibility, and I'm by no means recommending this, but...
Do you have an army?
Well, I mean, many of the villagers can fight, but they're not nearly so skilled as yourselves, I imagine.
True, but like just powerful. Sheer numbers can be quite arduous. But go on with your suggestion.
Well, there was a certain errand that the Mind Flayers had asked of us in a previous discussion. They seemed loath to do it themselves for some reason, but there is a tower, if you will, some distance from here, deeper in the Underdark. They wished for us to explore it and perhaps to retrieve something from it. To be honest, we were suspicious of the danger of following such a direction without understanding more of it, so we declined, but she shrugs. If you were looking for some kind of leverage in a negotiation, that might do it.
When did they give you the figurine?
Ilderat
When
pipes
they
up.
asked you?
The drow, you mean? Excuse me. The drow, you mean?
I thought the drow gave you the potions.
No, that was the mind flayers.
Oh, wait, was it? Okay, I could have sworn you said the other way around. My bad. Never mind. Makes sense for the illicit to do it more than the drow. Alright. How's it sound to you guys? Want to go explore a tower? Wait, which way is the tower? And I look through the looking glass as I ask this.
Well, so as you look at the looking glass, the
Point.
the red crystal leads down the stairs, actually.
Well, okay, I guess I looked down the stairs. Or, like, I remember which area of this cavern it went, right? Like, corner, whatever it was?
Oh, well,
Number
you
4.
just saw, so if we look at the map for a moment, you were standing down here, and you saw that it didn't point, like, in a straight line. It actually seemed to measure out a path that led around the city, and you couldn't tell exactly where it was leading from your vantage point. You'd have to presumably go outside in order to check that.
I would go out. I should follow me, and I will go outside with the looking glass. And when I get to where I can see which way the path is going, I want to ask them which way to that tower.
Okay, so everybody taking a field trip then?
I am not waiting. I'm going.
All right. Ilderop follows you out of the room. You head down and outside the temple. You look at the reflection. So looking glass is not like a spyglass. It's like a mirror more. But as you look down
It's like
through
a
it,
what? Oh, a mirror, yeah.
yeah,
That's what I was picturing.
it points off in this direction.
Alright. Which way to that tower?
He points out the exact same direction that the red thread seems to be leading.
That's... shit. Okay.
Incidentally, if you asked, he would mention what you might already remember from last time, but let me just, say it again. This is the way that heads towards the Illithid City.
Yeah.
And the top right was the Blindloop way, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys follow me out?
Yeah, sorry, I think I was muted when I said gather up your zombies, but...
Oh, okay. Alright, yeah, you were muted. Alright, so everybody's outside then.
Alright. Guys, the tower and our other goals may be one and the same.
I have no objection.
I'm just saying that this could be much more complicated.
Well...
But we gotta go there anyway, so we might as well see if we can figure it out.
Boredom urges me to agree.
Depends on what the what did you say?
Let's be off.
Wait, no, what did I missed the first part of what found.
He said boredom urges him to agree.
Yes. Let's go this way then. Alright, guys. See ya. Let's start going.
All right. Good luck. Incidentally, they referred to the item as the cradle.
The cradle. Does that ring any bells?
Yes, I think it does.
Wait, does it?
I'm pretty sure you've mentioned cradle before. Oh no, it was a post game thing that you were gonna.
Oh, okay.
I swear to God, if they
metagaming.
If they want the thing that this looking glass leads, what does this looking glass do again?
Points us where we're supposed to go for a certain somebody.
Saxon doesn't remember, like.
All right, so you all talked to Innis herself a while ago. Wait, what was funny?
I can't. Sorry, I posted it. Cord. I cannot stop looking at that. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Where's the Discord?
Oh my gosh. These three guys jumped in on the
Oh my god.
All right, moving on.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'll just give it a moment.
Oh. Holy shit. Alright, I'm good.
Just for the sake of the recording,
Oh, let's not get
there's an image. Above the image, it says, 1 year anniversary of our friendship. Make us regret it. Below the image, 3 guys chipped in on a Nicolas Cage sex doll. So, just...
show the stream the picture.
Let me open it in a new... Yeah, there we go. There
It's
it
like
is.
that.
I'm so sorry. I can't look at it.
I can't either. Oh, I gotta close Discord.
That poor bastard.
Oh, I feel bad for laughing, but also don't.
All right.
Okay.
And we're back.
My bad.
So yeah, you were told about how the Looking Glass Cyphera worked from a few sources. First of all, it would be common knowledge in Einongrun that this was the artifact that led the settlers to Einongrun from the outside world. So then they used it similarly to how you're using it now to show them the path to Einongrun. But what you learned is it continues to show a path even after you make it to the island. And Innis told you that she actually set the path, like set the location where it leads, quite some time ago. But at the time that she was talking about it, she couldn't remember, despite being the goddess of knowledge, could not remember exactly where it led. And then after the whole incident with the weird creature, she didn't bring it up again. She just set you on the errand to find the vestiges, the dragon spirits, and the creation stones. The only other thing about it is it's got still 2 glowing blue gems on it that can be used to ask a question about the future and receive pretty much a straight answer.
Okay.
So yeah, so it seems to be leading off in the same direction that the Mind Flayers want some object called the Cradle from.
Cool. Well, there's so many. So this is like the world's biggest goddamn scavenger hunt.
I feel like we really gotta follow. I'm just tired
Yeah.
of us sidetracking him.
Let's go to the tower.
All right, so you all gather up, maybe get some last minute supplies from the village and take off down the tunnel, seeking basically some sort of leverage, I guess, to barter with the Quotoa. You travel for some time. So it's morning when you leave. It feels like late afternoon before anything of note happens. Mostly just going through tunnels, small caverns. Give me perception, everybody, as you go through the tunnel.
Do we have a
9.
light source going on, by the way?
Do you have what?
You have a light source going on.
You
So I'm
A
pretty
few
sure
of you
everyone
have like
here.
the small like glowstone thingies.
Oh, right. Do I have one of those?
We do all probably still have our glowstones.
That's just enough to sort of walk by. If you want more light, you'll have to
I
light
don't
a
have
torch or
mine.
something like that.
Can I still see?
I still have my glow crystal, and I have the goggles I got from.
I have dark vision, so.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Basically, Kane, you're
Most
the
of
only
the
person without dark vision.
Well, I mean, halflings don't have dark vision, do they?
Yeah, so this is a good question, actually. How is Kane seeing? Like, he can see you guys and sort of
What about
navigate by
halfling?
that.
Can we tie a rope to him?
He's got a warlock feature.
Oh God! I can hold my breath for a really long time, guys. Okay.
hold your breath in the dark.
Well, I'll let you hold on to Gamork's cape, since he's wearing a cape.
So, I mean, you guys are going to move slower, though, if Kane can't see very well. The easy solution would be to just lend him a glowstone. I wouldn't even make you move inventory.
I'll lend him a glowstone.
All right. So you make your way through the tunnel, small caves. Fallon, give me also nature.
Oh wait, I should roll perception now.
Okay. Yeah, you can go and roll perception too, Kane.
Just wanted to figure out the sight thing first, since it affects things.
Okay, so that's a 15, I think.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So, although actually, you can't see very well, so I'm just gonna go with Fallon. So Fallon, you notice the cave life, and similarly to the tunnels when you first came in, you notice that several creatures with distortions, mutations, if you will. Probably one of the weirdest ones is you see a spider with what sure look like vestigial jaws growing out of its body.
Gross.
You'll also a little bit less dramatically see a lizard that appears to have an extra leg.
Can I capture this spider?
You can certainly try. Give me, I guess, manual dexterity. I'm calling sleight of hand. Yeah, you scoop it up easily enough. Roll for, is it super poisonous and does it try to bite you? Yeah, it just sort of wanders over your hand.
I show it to Colleen and say, I'm calling him Bitey.
Well, I guess can't say that's totally unexpected. It's a great name.
I just kind of put my hand on one of your zombies and let it crawl onto one of the zombies.
Aw.
That's
Not
like
a mean gesture.
Yeah,
Just
no,
like,
no.
Hey, get to
It's
ride
just
on
like
this.
It wasn't an adorable aw.
Yeah, no. It's just like it's like gross thing, second gross thing. Somehow it's kind of cute. So,
That one's gonna become a habitat.
oh gosh.
I was gonna keep it for days, and it's gonna turn into a hive of spiders, and then it'll explode onto
Its
an
last
enemy.
motion at 1 HP is gonna go to jump on somebody and bones disintegrate and spiders rush all over.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I should learn infestation and just start preparing zombies with infestation.
I don't like spiders.
I don't think that's a thing I could do, but it would be a
Oh,
great
wait.
thing to do.
What's going on? Whoops. There we go. Okay, so yeah. So, you guys stop for lunch, more spelunking. The path seems to wind. It goes up and down, but mostly down. At a few points, you have to navigate down sort of small cliffs using your climbing equipment. You have to go through a few fairly narrow tunnels. And as you continue on, you actually walk past scrawled with what seems to be a very heavy and unsteady hand into the wall of the rock in one of the sort of narrower tunnels. You actually find the continuation of that weird poem that you read from before. So remember the first stanza of it you guys saw when you first went to Inflor. But the second stanza was told to you by the other group that went through a different path. And now you're seeing the path that they must have walked.
Who went down this path?
It was Anya, Corin, Hanil, who it's been a while since he showed up. But he was the elf from Kyrian's first session. And also, it was Tyria Kayadel. She was an elf. She also had a wolf animal companion. So the four of them left. So like way back session 2, when you guys left Rampart to go down here in the first place, they basically started through from a different direction and wound up running into you.
They went this way.
Yep. I mean, it sure appears that way if they gave you that poem. Incidentally, you guess that they would have been walking the opposite direction. So it appears that somebody in that group recognized that the proper order of the poem was the way you guys are going. Or actually, let me think. Actually, would that be the case? Yeah, because it's sort of all like scrolled in a certain order. I guess like just left to right writing, it would be along the left wall, and it would have been along the right wall for them running in the other direction. So, okay. Any commentary, or should I continue narrating?
Kane's gonna be like,
Continue.
"Hey, Clean, give me the bag, real quick."
I give Fallon the bag.
I need to put some things into the bag.
I hold the bag open.
This, come on, guys.
All right. I presume you're unencumbering yourself, Kane.
Yeah, you can continue now. I'm gonna add this stuff.
Okay. So yeah, you guys stop for lunch. You put your stuff away. So
You're gonna hold the bag the whole time.
Can you hold the bag the whole time?
Is he gonna hold the bag open for me the whole time? And I just give it.
I mean, presumably he's holding the bag open for you, unless he says otherwise.
Sorry, I just thought you were just dumping stuff into the bag of holding.
I mean, I guess like.
Did you want to carry it?
Things. Sure.
If you don't answer honestly, I might.
I mean, I'll
and
carry
Judas
it.
was the money keeper.
I mean, I'll carry it. Like, I'm fine carrying it if you don't want to carry it. I just need to unload a few things.
I have the bag of hiding that has nothing in it. I'm pretty sure.
Bag of holding in the bag of hiding.
Oh baby.
No.
Pocket dimension.
As out of character, no.
Yeah, out of
That would
character.
go
This
so
is
well.
like everybody who's played D&D is like, oh my god, no, don't do it.
I just know what happens if you do that. I've
Right,
never
right.
seen it happen.
Oh my gosh. Incidentally, this just occurred to me. Let me see here. This will be a pretty low check, but everybody give me one more perception. Yeah, so you all notice this. The words that are written into the wall, actually very, very faintly, there's light glowing through them. And as you sort of peer into it, it's carved very deep. You see just small veins of that same glowing green moss that seems to grow throughout this entire Underdark, sort of sitting within the letters on the wall.
Does anything happen if I hold my Alkadir ring up to it?
No. Although...
So, and when nothing happens, I act like I wasn't doing anything.
I'm just thinking, though, Kane, the clear stone would become heavy around these. Well, actually, no, would it? No, it wouldn't. I take that back.
Wait. Is there a rhyme and reason to this stone changing weight? I haven't been paying attention at all.
All right.
I thought he was forgetting about it too.
So,
There's actual logic.
there might be. All right.
Tell me.
So, yeah. So I imagine at some point you all continue past this. Finally, you see a slightly larger cavern up ahead, and when you sort of come around the bend and look into the cavern, well, your initial reaction is one of surprise. And actually, let me find this real quick. Where are we? Ah, come on. Oh, right. I actually, you know what? I forgot about that. I need to look something up. There's something I forgot to do. It's not that book. This book. Okay, so take back just the last thing I said. So you guys are sort of continuing through the caverns, and as you wander through the cavern, this sense starts to sort of grow within you. Kane, you've been checking the looking glass every once in a while, and you're continuing along the path that it's marking out. All of you have this feeling welling up inside of you, like you're getting close to something. Like you've been a little bit searching for direction, and you feel like you're finally about to find something out. You're finally about to discover what you've been looking for, achieve what you've been trying to achieve. And the sense just grows stronger and stronger as you walk along. And then, as you turn around the corner and look across the underground river that flows through this cavern, you see, to your surprise, an elf, Lyriana, surrounded by 3 mind flayers. And that's where we're going to call it.
Don't do it, no!
What's under those blue tarps?
Blue tarps.
I see some blue tarps on the map. I just want to know
I knew you were going to do that.
what's under them blue tarps.
Is
Those crystal things.
Is the dynamic lighting not working? Can you see the whole map?
It's working
Working
for me. It's
When you
just
say dynamic lighting,
a little bit.
Can you not see? Can you see the entire map?
No.
I can't see anything.
Oh,
There's
okay.
actually
All right.
like weird like
Oh, you can
bars
just see
and-
this. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Like,
Am I not supposed to see?
I was just surprised that you had line of sight on that.
So I have
Oh,
this
sorry.
weird,
I can see the entire tunnel system. Outside of it is black.
Oh,
So
I'm just
okay,
I'm surprised that you can see like this direction because there's a wall there.
so like
I'll sort
this
that out.
this right here,
I'll draw what all I
like,
can see. How
all
about that?
black.
I can see all the way
All right,
through here.
in the
loop
meantime,
around
let me
here.
go ahead and stop the recording. So,
Over.
thank you, blah, blah, blah. Have a good night.
Actually, I